The return of Trump. God, it feels like I'm watching a Star Wars movie. Anyway, he's come back to take credit. The biggest credit taker when he hadn't done jack squat about anything. Brianna Keilar from CNN explains if Donald Trump wants to take credit for the vaccines for the coronavirus, he's going to have to take responsibility for it too. Brianna, take the bastard to church.
Do you remember in high school when the kid in your group project who didn't do anything then took credit anyway? Well, Washington is like Bayside High with suits, so maybe it's no surprise that it's happening here too. One example, Republican Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi. After Congress passed the president's COVID relief bill, he tweeted this, quote, "Independent restaurant operators have won $28.6 billion worth of targeted relief." This is what he said after the bill passed the House on Wednesday, after it had previously passed the Senate. He said this funding will ensure small businesses can survive the pandemic by helping to adapt their operations and keep their employees on the payroll. But while singing the praises of part of the bill after it passed, Wicker left out a very important fact.
Mr. Wicker, no.
That is right. He voted against it. He lobbied against it. So did every single one of his other Republican colleagues, which he does link to in his tweet. But now that it passed, he's happy to tout one part that will likely benefit his voters, despite its enormous popularity across the country, despite many local Republican officials and business leaders urging its passage. Wicker was part of the group that literally introduced and added this amendment for restaurant relief to the bill, but he voted against it, right? He voted against the bill anyway. And here's how he responded when confronted about this by CNN's Manu Raju. He said, "One good provision in a $1.9 trillion bill doesn't mean I have to vote for the whole thing. It goes without saying. I issued a statement, but I think it's a stupid question." He said, I'm not going to vote for $1.9 trillion just because it has a couple of good provisions. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is trying to discredit the package's effect on the economy before we even see its effect on the economy.
The economy is coming back. People are getting vaccine. We're on the way out of this. We're about to have a boom. And if we do have a boom, it will have absolutely nothing to do with this $1.9 trillion.
Translation, Republicans are worried the relief package will help the economy because it would be bad for them politically. It turns out they should be worried because many financial experts disagree with McConnell. A group of economists forecasted that the package would put the economy into overdrive in a Wall Street Journal survey. Goldman Sachs boosted its GDP forecast. More than 150 senior business executives urged Congress to pass the bill. One study by the Center on Poverty and Social Policy at Columbia University showed the bill could cut child poverty in half. Some Republican senators are also dismissing the bill as pork rather than pandemic relief. Some colorfully, or off-colorfully, I should say, more so than others.
President Biden says it's a coronavirus bill, and my response is right, and the stripper really likes you.
Funny because conservatives have spent so much time at Club Fox watching Seuss and Potato Head gyrate across the screen this past month that their focus on this huge bill was pretty limited. This credit taking, though, it pales in comparison to the champion of all-time credit takers, Donald Trump. Since Twitter kicked him off of its platform, Trump has resorted to Twitter thread-like statements slapped on a fancy letterhead. Quote, "I hope everyone remembers when they're getting the COVID-19, often referred to as the China virus vaccine," he said, "that if I wasn't president, you wouldn't be getting that beautiful shot for 5 years at best and probably wouldn't be getting it at all. I hope everyone remembers." Pretty pathetic. Fact, Operation Warp Speed was launched under the Trump administration. Fact, scientists and companies made history by developing a vaccine in record time. Fact, whatever credit Trump and his administration deserves, he squandered by embracing an anti-science approach to managing the pandemic, an approach that cost more lives than any other country. He constantly downplayed the pandemic's threat, promising Americans it would soon be over, even when he knew that was a lie. He compared it to the flu. He politicized masks from the start, the original sin of his administration's pandemic response. He spread myths and conspiracy theories about the virus, including that hotter weather would kill it. also linking it to a crackdown on immigration and falsely blaming former President Obama for lack of testing. He promoted and pushed unproven drugs and treatments. He encouraged people to ignore social distancing guidelines, his own administration's guidelines. He risked lives by holding large campaign rallies with no social distancing. He failed to create a national testing strategy. He shifted responsibility to states, allowing him to lay blame on states for his failures. He relied on discredited and crackpot medical experts to echo his conspiracy theories. He instead attacked respected doctors and scientists like Anthony Fauci. And 400,000 Americans had died by the time he left office. A Columbia University study found the U.S. government's failure to act cost at least 130,000 of our fellow Americans' lives, and as many as 210,000 during his presidency. On top of this, the guy demanding credit for the vaccine is the same guy who secretly got the vaccine himself in January before leaving the White House, didn't tell Americans he did it, and didn't widely promote it while in office to help calm the nerves of a skeptical public and of skeptical conservatives who polls show are less likely to get the vaccine than liberals. Credit where credit is due.
As I said earlier, Trump, you want to take the credit for this? Okay. But your dumbass is going to take the responsibility too. We got a whole list. Brianna just gave us a whole list of the crap you did to make this crisis 10 times worse. And as for you developing a vaccine, I didn't know that you were a doctor among all the other bullshit you've done. Among the other crap you are. I didn't realize you were a doctor who specializes in viruses, in contagious viruses. Wow. I didn't know you were Dr. Trump. But here's the thing. Trump, you're a scumbag. And every day you show yourself to be a scumbag by things like this, by you trying to take credit for what credit is not due to you. It just shows to the rest of us, to all the rest of the Americans, at least the Americans who are not still bowing to you, worshiping that golden idol that was made in Mexico for CPAC. You're just showing us to be the scumbag that you really are. Now, it's bad enough that I should be making a video about what Joe Biden said in his first televised address after he signed the coronavirus relief bill, after he's actually helping Americans, while Republicans are dead set on letting Americans die. But honestly, I don't have to worry about what Joe Biden says. I do have to worry about what you and your empty-headed supporters have to say. So, you want to take credit again? Okay. All hail Trump. But be thankful that you're not in the jail cell right now for those 400,000 deaths on your watch because of your criminal negligence. And you better thank God that I'm not a cop or a prosecutor. Because I will be your Mark Furman. And trust me, I will be less merciful than he was. CTP, you know what? There is one more thing I need to say. I've been getting a lot of requests to do a debate with Trump supporters. Okay. Set the time, set the place. And I would love to debate you. Because I would rip you to shreds. But understand something. This is going to be public on YouTube or on Facebook or on Twitter. You name the place, you name the time, I'll be there. Just know that when it's all over, you'll be begging me to stop. And I don't mean that in some weird sexual way like Donald Trump does. When he hears no and stop from women, he keeps going. You're going to be begging me to stop because your mind is going to be blown to smithereens. You want to defend Trump on screen? Go right ahead. Just be ready for the ass kicking that's going to be coming your way if you do. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.